Welcome back, one and all, to the EMEA Masters. We are coming into our sixth and final game of the day. And it is a bit of a hype one coming into this one, Shimada. We are looking at an undefeated Macko versus Movistar Riders. I don't think a lot of people were expecting the Italian Stallions to be so good on day one.
No, definitely not. As you see, Group B standings here. 2-0 for Macko. And, you know, they are always kind of that underdog team. They've always got that slightly magical spark about them where you never know whether or not they're going to actually end up making this kind of, you know, sort of surprise run. And, I mean, it seems like the stars are starting to align, not only because they're playing very well, but teams like Aegis as well kind of just falling to the wayside a bit, giving them the win. Now it gives them the setup to potentially end the day 3-0. And I mean, you end the first day of games at 3-0. Chances are you're probably going to make it to quarters. You just need one win to cross the finish line.
Shut up, you. Shut up, you. Don't jinx it. Do not jinx this.
All right, no jinxing. I'll step back.
No jinxing. All right, we can still have a four-way tie where everyone's 3-3. I won't have it. But Movistar Riders, we obviously saw them a little bit earlier today. We do know this team. And again, just looking at that bot lane was just so damn good. I'd be very surprised to see Alvaro get that Thresh again.
Yeah, I think if Macko are doing, you know, prep game to game, as well as obviously their own internal prep, and they were looking at this one whilst they were playing their own coaching staff, very, very multifaceted like that, I don't think Alvaro is getting the Thresh again. Whether it's banned, whether it's picked away, I feel like it's a little bit too scary to give over to him because I'm sure it's in this B-roll package. But what was it? 5 hooks back to back to back, all key targets, all immediately get bursted out. But generally, Movistar Riders just looked really, really clean. After about the 10 to 15 minute mark, right, we had Fresskowy here in the interview where he kind of just mentioned, you know, our best of ones, they're not the best at all. That's certainly our weaker point of contention, and it's about the best ofs for us. So as long as they can cross the finish line into quarters, I expect that they will only continue to grow, and hopefully they can try and even up the scoreline with Macko, because I think ending out the day at 1 and 2 would maybe not necessarily do themselves justice moving into the second day of the round robin.
Now going old school right now with these photos right here, just kind of saying, you know, it's going to be what the other team's going to be seeing a lot of if you're a Macko fan right now. A lot of black and gray as we come into this one here. And again, like, I looked at this roster, Click, Cboi, ACD. This is a team that I'm kind of going, I recognized a hell of a lot of these names. These are guys that have been around the ERL system and even the EU Masters / EMEA system for a hell of a long time.
Yeah, a lot of veterancy here in this Macko roster, and you know, it feels like a lot of the time whenever we have these PG Nats rosters come through to the main stage, and normally it's under the banner of the Macko organization, there is sort of a bit of a mix, right, where you've got a couple of very experienced players and then a couple of like rookies. It feels like this time sort of across the board it is just full veterancy and a lot of speciality throughout this lineup, and I feel like it's one that, no pun intended, because Click is on the roster, but one that clicks very well with each other, just because when you've got that much experience across the board, it's very easy to just kind of set aside differences and be like, even if you've got a very solid and rigid philosophy on the game, if you know you kind of just have to take a weak side game or a low resource game, you've got the experience to just know, all right, yeah, this is the best for the team. They're never going to have that kind of run-in of ego, and it's definitely working out for them so far today as we get into picks and bans for the final game of our day here at EMEA.
Yeah, we're going to have our final day here, as we can see now, where these teams want to try and bring these compositions. But for Macko, again, like you mentioned, it's kind of a team that we have been seeing. I believe Kerberos was on this roster for a hell of a long time. But like, ever since their inception, they've always kind of gotten in, smashed the PG Nats, apart from, I think it was 2022 spring, where they did come second to, I can't actually remember who exactly they lost to. But
I can't remember either, but even that was considered a huge upset. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why I make point of it. It's like this team has kind of been brought in to kind of say, look, you're domestically dominant, but you need to start making better kind of moves in the ERL system, in the EMEA system. So now we're starting to see them maybe go for what could potentially be their best finish at the EMEA Masters ever. They always kind of go between that kind of like, you know, 10th to 15th, somewhere around there. And if they can get to top 8, that is huge for them and the PG Nats.
Yeah, it definitely would be. PG Nats, I think it's only once or twice they've ever made it to quarterfinals. And it was a huge, huge success. And maybe, you know, you have this kind of setup now with the Macko lineup being at 2-0 and just kind of generally feeling so strong, right? So dominant that this could be a year again where they can look to do it. Look at the draft though. Movistar go towards the Gragas first pick. Zeri up and available if Macko want to go towards it, but of course Jinx has also been very, very high priority throughout the tournament so far on this patch. Seems that teams really do value those buffs that she received. And seems that we'll also potentially be getting a look in at the Wukong, maybe. Hovers, of course, are hovers, but I feel like probably the strongest available on patch. Didn't really talk much about the bans, but I think everything is pretty box standard with the exception of 610's Alawi, also just kind of Alawi, Irelia.
Yeah,
Alawi's always
I was going to say, Jesus, an Alawi.
Alawi, wow, yeah.
I didn't see that in the match history. Now it is definitely something to kind of fear coming into this one here, but Zeri locked in here. No support locked in with it, so it looks like we can see that Movistar are happy to take the Gragas and kind of put that up into the top lane. Can go mid. We have seen it multiple different regions going in towards that mid lane as well, but the Ahri gets locked in, so support's kind of falling down to the wayside just a little bit, but the AD carry is just as prevalent as ever, and we'll see if Supa can have himself a Zeri moment. Yeah,
we'll see, and I'm very interested to know what Macko want to remove away now from the bottom side, just to not give Zeri any more oomph, right? And you'd expect something like the Lulu maybe to come out, and then of course maybe something like Nautilus as well. I think for the side of Movistar, probably looking at the more defensive options that we can have come out for the side of Click, as that Blitzcrank ban should signal a Thresh ban on the side of Movistar. There's no other reason why you'd go towards it, but Movistar more interested in protecting the top side of with their Gragas pick already locked in, likely to go up there. It feels like we've seen a bit of a deviation with Gragas, where, yeah, he started to come out in the mid lane, especially I think it was when T1 pulled him out, and then teams kind of adapted, but he shifted more back up towards that top side. We'll see, however, what Movistar Riders look to remove again moving forward.
We'll see what they want to try and go for right now. I do like what both teams have kind of given them into themselves. I'll be honest, it's kind of the same for what we've seen throughout the tournament. No one's really kind of deviating from the set path right now. It is, of course, called meta for most efficient tactics available for a reason, and we'll see what kind of ways we want to work from here. I still like the Thresh coming out here for Click, something he is very, very comfortable on, has brought out in multiple years of his career, and it is going to be something that he's going to be able to keep VZZ up and alive with those dark passages.
Yeah, absolutely, and now Movistar have the option to just go towards Nautilus if they want it, right? Point and click, engage. We know what Nautilus does. It's been in the meta for years. Good one-to-one matchup, of course, with Thresh. In sort of the laning phase, a lot of the time people consider it that positive matchup. And it's all up to Fresskowy and what he actually wants to pick up in the mid lane. And I think when you've got Lee Sin, you've always got many options. You can go towards something like this Lissandra here, LeBlanc as well. Anything for setup, right? Anything for team fighting. You already know what the 2v2 is on the opposite side, and they will go towards that Lissandra. Fairly telegraphed. So a lot of CC, a lot of powerful team fight ultimates available to Movistar. So for Macko, definitely have to be a little bit careful of that. And we'll see if maybe Asli can bring out something to maybe break the game, or he just leans back over to his very, very true, tried, and very tested Gangplank.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what he wants to go for there. No, decides he's just going to hover it over for the moment, goes with the Cassante, something you are definitely a big fan of. And again, I got to say, like, I love that you brought up about Movistar's Riders composition, but there's also a lot of displacement here. You got the Lee Sin kick, the explosive barrel, you've got the Nautilus ultimate, even the hook as well. Just kind of reposition people into places they don't want to be, or is at least a bit awkward for them to try and get out of. Whereas on the other side here, I'm looking at kind of a very good single target CC. You've got the charm and the hook, such a great combination between the two. And again, the Wukong and Ahri, just such a strong jungle mid combination that we've seen throughout all of the world.
Yeah, very, very strong combination. And that's why you see the Lissandra come in to be that lockdown for it. And I think Movistar definitely have the I don't want to say like the upper hand, but I think whenever you've got Lissandra into Ahri, you always feel like you're going to have slightly more burst, slightly more upfront damage, just because the setup is a lot easier, right? Just E in, as long as you're in range to press the R key, it sets up for Isma on the Lee Sin to just kind of one-shot that target. For Macko, definitely gonna have to play around that, be a little bit careful, but of course the snowballing potential, especially when you Ahri plus Jinx, the resets are going to be crucial when you move past that skirmishing aspect into the team fights. First takedowns for Macko are going to be very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's going to be a very good kind of setup here, and I think this is now, you win one game and you get it off someone who shouldn't have win. Oh, fair enough, it happens. You win two, all of a sudden you're kind of going, okay, a bit of momentum. But now Movistar Riders, they should be very well prepared for how Macko want to play this. You've seen it twice. You do not want to be the third person to kind of fall to the tricks, if you will, of this team. And not to take anything away from Macko, but like, again, it's just the way that things are. You know, there are just, you know, different ways of looking at this. And I do think that if they can keep that momentum, if they can continue to push themselves forward, they will be able to kind kind of, you know, get themselves a much better kind of platform to push off of. I will say though to our lovely audience, we are going to have a little bit of a delay, so hopefully we'll be getting that sorted out very soon, and we'll be getting into game as soon as possible. But again, I mean, for Matchko, this is a fantastic position to be in, but the job's not done. You know, the Kobe Bryant quote, why would I be happy? We haven't finished yet. This is still to be done. They still have games to win.
So stoic, right? Job's not finished. Why am I happy? Job's not finished. So, you know, for Matchko, they do have to stay focused, and they do definitely have a little bit of a meal on their hands with Movistar here, because, you know, they did look pretty strong. I mean, you know, self-admittedly saying themselves, not the best of one team. So, you know, I feel like Matchko, with that in mind, do find themselves in a very strong position to try and lock in a quarterfinals appearance for a PG Nats team for the first time in a little while. And it could be, you know, the start of something good for this lineup, because I feel like as well, historically for Matchko for the last couple of years, they've always been the team where you think about them as, I don't want to see like the cheesers, but they always have these very strange and unorthodox strategies that they like to pull out when they make it to the main stage. But this lineup doesn't really necessarily feel like that. Sure, they've got their own individual styles, right? But it doesn't necessarily feel like they're super out there in terms of strategy per se. It's just, you know, a couple of assassin picks for 610, and obviously Asadi has a very wide champion pool that he's very happy to pick and do. That's why you saw things like the Kled removed away by Movistar just paying their respects there. It's a lot more standard. It's a lot more on the beaten path, but with their own little mixes and spices as they go. So to make it, you know, to a quarterfinals in that regard, where people can't really take it away from them and be like, oh, you know, they played all of this weird stuff across the board and teams can't really be ready for it. It would be a pretty big honor for them to make that step.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's obviously a job only, you know, 1/3 done, if you will. They have the 2-0. That's a very good start. And they do kind of need it. I got to feel like, you know, you got to keep that momentum going in the day. It's a long one, but if you can keep getting W after W after W, 3 wins off the board, it gives you a very good chance going into day number 4, where you're going to be playing those final 3 games. You're going to be in a position where if you just get that one, you get up to 4-2, you could find yourself in a fantastic spot there, because no one else can really do it. You've done the heavy lifting, but it's still a lot of if, buts, and maybes. You drop the 2-1, that puts yourselves, Movistar Riders, and Foot all in 2-1. That's when you're starting to go, okay, this isn't as great as we thought it might have been. This is when you're starting to really question whether or not it is possible. And look, you know, I think regardless of the results, you can always be proud of a strong showing. You never want to go 0 in a group, but you always feel like when you get that little bit closer, you just want that little bit more. Yeah,
exactly. And, you know, you set yourself up potentially for, like you say, you do all the heavy lifting today. That's it. Your next day of games is going to be very easy to play out. So, yeah, I think if they do end up dropping this game, as you say, things get a little bit scary, a little more spooky, right? Because you never necessarily know what's going to happen with the rest of the group. Will Movistar continue to step up if they already, you know, if they going into the next day 2-1, will they step up an additional level, feeling a little bit warmer, a little more hotter? Will, you know, the other teams as well, like maybe A just decide to pick things up, and then that's when things really get a little bit worrying. Maybe we get that 3-3, everyone's tied scoreline. You never know. So yeah, definitely winning here. It's, I don't want to say it's pivotal or crucial, but again, it just sets things up so nicely to get yourselves into that top 8.
Absolutely. But we do have a slight update. There is a little bit of a longer delay than we anticipated. We're going to send it to a quick break. Hopefully, by the time we come back, we will be jumping into game, and we'll see you guys very soon.
A renegade, I'm so chaotic, I show up to cause a problem. They diagnose me a psycho, I'm taking off like a rocket. I know I'm bad, ain't come to play, so like a savage. A renegade, I'm so chaotic, I show up to cause a problem. They diagnose me a psycho, I'm taking off like a rocket.
Baby, como nadie, quiero respirar hasta tu aire. No quiero que te vayas de mi nave. Tú me tienes loco, ya lo sabes. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie. Quiero respirar hasta tu aire. No quiero que te vayas de mi nave. Tú me tienes loco, ya lo sabes. Tú no me lo pones fácil. Duro voy a darte a ti, pa' que no te olvides de mí, pa' que no te olvides de mí. nos separe. Puede ser que no te guste nadie. Puede ser que estemos hechos para manos. Puede ser, puede ser, puede ser. Puede ser que la vida nos separe. Puede ser que no te guste nadie. Puede ser que estemos hechos para manos. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie. Quiero respirar hasta tu aire. No quiero que te vayas de mi nave. Tú me tienes loco, ya lo sabes. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie. Quiero respirar hasta tu aire. No quiero que te vayas de mi nave. Tú me tienes loco, ya lo sabes. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie, nadie. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie. Tú te mueves, baby, como nadie, tú te mueves, baby, como nadie. Tú me tienes loco, ya lo sabes.
Ay, can't stop, won't stop till we on top. Quit, I think not. Coming hot for the #1 spot, yeah. No key, got the game on lock, ayy. Big threes when I take my shot, ayy. On the rise and we ain't gon' drop. On the grind, it's our time, just watch. If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown because our time is now. Ayy, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Ayy, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it. We can't be contained when we leave the game. My name will remain. We don't need the fame. You can keep this chain. We broke free, so things won't be the same. Nah, on the mission, gotta get it. Let's work. You were raised on the net. I'm raising my net worth, but it ain't about the money. Nah, it ain't about the cause. All that matters is the world knows who we are. Stars. If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown because our time is now. Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it. Know that our time is now. Yes, life can get hard, but don't ever let it keep you down. See, we are all kings and queens and we all deserve crowns. So don't wait. Get up, go out and get it. Now. Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it.
Welcome back, one and all. We are going to be jumping back into our 6th game of the day. It was a slight network issue for Macko. They reset the router, and it made it worse. So they needed to go for a little bit more time to make sure that they were able to kind of play right now. We should be jumping straight into the game as soon as we possibly can, but that was the reason behind it. It's unfortunate the way these things go, but thankfully, hopefully, touch wood, things have all been sorted out now, Jamada.
Yeah, sounds like my experience with most UK internet providers. Apparently Spain has the same issue out there. Or sorry, Italy has the same issue out there. But yeah, we should be getting into game quite soon. We had the drafts on the screen, obviously before we went for our short little break, and I feel like for the most part, both teams probably pretty happy with what they ended up with, what they landed on, and it's likely just looking more about how they want to play around these things, right? We've seen from Movistar that they're very keen around the skirmishing aspect of things, so I suspect that they're going to look to try and bring that same level of aggression here into the Macko side, because like we said, you've got the Lee Sin, you've got the Lissandra, It's a very strong skirmishing 2v2 as we make it in. There you go. Of course, you'll hear all the callouts, all of this stuff. Obviously, they would have loaded into game and then reconnected and such. So that's why we're seeing the match code side disconnect and then they will reconnect. Of course, you can see them moving on the screen.
30 seconds until the minions spawn.
Going to be able to see them kind of come in and out of, obviously, we are going into games, so we know that this thing, I actually saw the overlay go a little bit crazy right there and said VZZ had a Lord Dominic's regard, and I was just like, I was just like, all right, interesting,
You know,
interesting
I've
500
noticed,
gold item.
I've noticed, I wonder what causes the overlay to do it, you know? Like, I'm definitely no back-end technician, and generally the new overlay here, of course, that we've got mirroring the LEC stuff, etc. It's wizardry, man. It's so cool.
Oh,
it's
I mean,
really nice.
it's funny as well because, like, you know, you add on these extra elements. The more you stipulate on something, the more things can go wrong. I find sometimes it's a little unfortunate the way things work. You kind of find that it's like, you know, we're adding all these things, which means there's all these extra things that can maybe just go wrong for ourselves. I do notice it a little bit with the overlay. It's like when someone completes an item, it copies the image of the first item they have. So if they have like a black cleaver in their inventory and they pick up like a phage on the next item, it's just like, oh, you have another black cleaver, and it's like, nope, never mind, sorry, you know, back off this. But of course, you know, trying to make it as best as possible. It's always kind of the nature of things. You kind of want it to be as smooth as you possibly can, but these things happen. It's all about testing them out, making sure you're as happy as you possibly can, giving the viewers as much of an experience as possible. But we're going to jump now into the game and see how these kind of first few levels kind of go. And I'm very excited to see what Isma can do on this Lee Sin. We saw him on the Zinzao earlier today. Really was making such great plays, being as active as he physically could be. And I want to see what he can do with the Lee Sin. Again, you have such great kind of setup in honestly all three of your lanes.
Yep. Everywhere across the board. Play used a little bit haphazardly there. Will that prompt a trade? A little bit, but...
And we are going to see the hook go completely wide there as VZZ does have to cleanse after getting hit by the CC passive of Alvaro.
VZZ cleansed the Ignite, by the way. That was the most... I didn't even hear the Ignite go.
Yeah, I didn't even see the animation.
That's insane. You saw the Grievous wounds next to him because the Grievous wound still applies for the duration of the Ignite, I believe. So that was so fast. But stops the trade from coming through. That's the summoner spell down on both sides. See whether or not Movistar can attack that lane, because like you said, there is that option, and Isma is actually pathing down there right now. He's done 3 camps, and he's just looking right now at the face of Cboi as topside here. Does he want this first wave, second wave, demolish block? He does. But,
Acidity, he's dead. Yeah, I just kind of saw that, and I was like, well, that's a little unfortunate. Took a tower shot, died, and unfortunately, I will say 610. Not going to look too much like he has egg on his face, as he did force out the flash there from the Lissandra, so not the worst of trades in the world, if we're being totally honest, but again, we can see Macko kind of going a little bit more scrappy in this early game.
Yeah, oh god, observers. It's painful.
My boy.
It's the curse, like, so, I don't know if you're familiar with a particular coach called Toro. Pleasant fella.
No,
used to be the coach of XL Academy. He told me about a curse called Los Platos, and it seems like Acidy suffered with the Demolish Proc. That's a hook underneath the tower.
That is a hook underneath the tower, but Click, not quite out of the waters just yet. They're going to see them go in. He flashes in, but it's going to be Isma traded back on this, and that's going over to VZZ. So 1 for 1. It's not the cleanest of dives.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know how much I like that. I mean, VZZ could maybe get forced off this next wave if Movistar see him step up, but I feel like it's maybe a little bit too risky to dive. They don't want to give over potentially another kill, so they're just going to let that one go. Isma, yeah, I just feel like a little over-ego to really force this play. And I think the fact that he ends up landing on Click as well, it's just slightly suboptimal as the hook. Bring Alvaro underneath the tower, it just makes things a little bit awkward, right? The minions aren't crashing underneath the tower either, whilst VZZ's auto-attacking Supa, he's also clearing out the wave a bit. And unfortunately, Isma doesn't connect onto the AD carry, lands on the support instead, so doesn't quite land the way that Movistar need it to, and because of that now, VZZ sits in the bottom side of the lead.
A little bit of a lead, has got the coal stacking up as well, but looks like Isma and Alvaro are going to, yeah, they're going to be able to kill you off here, Click. There's nothing you can really do here. You are by yourself. You will die. So that's going to be 0-2 start there for the Thresh. There's not really a lot else you can do from there. And this is the thing as well, when you get these kind of weird back timings where the supports resets before the AD carry, you're not going back in tandem with each other. It does mean you end up in those weird moments or two where you don't have a buddy to set you up and to kind of scare everybody away.
Yeah, definitely agree. Hex Flash over the wall from Alvaro. He does have VZZ here, but I feel like, yeah, just with the threat of 610 potentially moving over, not ideal. Now, one thing I do want to really highlight is that Movistar made a very prompt call to play for the jungle camp as opposed to the dragon. So Macko won't fall behind on that objective, but look at the pressure being drawn down here. 610 moving down has allowed Fresskowy the time and the window to maybe make this dive happen, but very apprehensive Movistar. As the wave gets cleared away very quickly, they will move over to the dragon, but again, this timer, how strong is it really, right? Because this wave is kind of neutral. If VZZ and FLICKR want to, they can definitely abandon the wave. And Cboi is in the area, he's on the bottom side of the map. It doesn't seem like they want to contest. I feel like just kind of understanding the potential threat as, oh, okay, all out plus ghost was used.
Yeah, no flash burnt here by Marky, so honestly, all things considered, he comes out of that pretty much on top as not really going to be getting much pressure. Will lose a plate though, because he knows he's not going to be in a... Oh, I'll say that though.
Not
looking
again,
for another
right?
little move,
Not again, right?
Does
Surely
take a
not.
good trade. I don't know if he's going to be taking that turret shot. That could be the difference maker right now. You're getting some decent regen coming in from both these top laners, but Asadi needs to be very careful with the next few moments of this top lane.
Yes, Los Platos comes for us all. The curse of 175 extra gold for the plate. I swear. The things I've seen, like, because I've started playing top lane recently. Historically, I've been a jungler. I'm about to do the caster thing where I talk about my solo queue games. I'm very sorry.
Absolutely. Because everyone cares about our solo queue games.
Exactly. And top laners will resonate with this one particularly. Why do top laners just lose their mind over plates, man? It's so funny. I don't know why. As speaking of losing our minds, Alvaro eats this hook and he might just be dead.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the Ignite coming down, they're going to see the Lightning Crash come out. That's a level 6 Supa. Click gets flashed upon. That's going to be a trade back with a VZZ. He can get one kill, one setup, but he cannot. And Supa gets a double kill. 5-1 in the scoreline now for Movistar Riders, and they're starting to build some momentum.
We were talking about our own personal solo queue experiences. Do you know what I'm also very used to? Zeri randomly winning 2v2s in the bottom side. As this is all engaged on by Macko. They're looking for this hook. I'm not sure really if they can ever kill off Alvaro here, but level 6 gets hit by Supa rather. First victim is Click. Dredgeline comes right off cooldown and just max range. The burst damage locks in place. VZZ. And the 2v2 is very, very easy to take. And now that's a much larger lead, right? We spoke about how VZZ had his own individual lead. Now 2 kills going back over to Supa, over to the Zeri. Gonna feel real nice from Movistar. We'll see what they can do to try and snowball this AD carry even further ahead.
Well, Cboi gonna go straight into Alvaro, who does not have flash, but oh, sorry, so he does have flash to get himself over the wall. As we can now see Supra might be in a bit of trouble here. Just get himself back over the wall. Click is gonna fall down, not quite just yet. The explosive cast finishes him off. Cboi now in no man's land, and oh dearie me, Macko. It's all falling apart for you right now. They tried to go for the aggressive play, but without the Jinx, you're 5v4.
5v4 indeed. Bye-bye, Asadi. Sacrificial lamb to the plate that he was barely involved in. And this Herald, take a reset. This part of the Herald, I know why they made it full reset, but man, that can be very irritating sometimes. We'll just add a couple of seconds to this play. Isma throwing up the thumbs up. I think he's agreeing with me. I think he knows that that's a very annoying mechanic sometimes.
You know what, Jamada, you're all right.
Yeah, you know what? He's like, yeah,
absolutely agree.
Ooh, hello. No way.
Does he? He goes over. He steals it! No! The Movistar Riders! Not quite able to get out. VZZ not going to die underneath the tower either. And oh my god, I don't think he can get the eye though, because you can see Marky moving down. Cboi might give up his life for this, but I don't think he needs to be perfectly honest. You got rid of it, but you're going to go for the fight afterwards. Alvaro, the flash in from 610. It's going to get caught out, but Asadi picks it up. They were so concerned about the fight. Macko get a lifeline off in the back of their jungler.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I mean, they need that Herald to try and claw back some of this gold as well, because they're down like 4,000 10 minutes into this game. And the one who is inflicted with Los Platos, given the opportunity to try and gain some more plates as a Cboi.
Plato, take it away.
Cboi gets the smite. Obviously, we panned down to the bottom side because maybe a 1v1 was going to occur. But then Macko overzealously just step into the river. I'm not expecting this many members to be here so fast. 610 kind of expends his flash for naught, just trying to, I suppose, save a member. So that will be a summoner spell down. But now, Acidy has the Herald. And, I mean, we've seen how he's been playing when he gets really close to the tower. So, surely, that Herald will be used for good. And gain him more plates.
I've also seen people hard commit for Herald pushes and it goes really badly, but Alvaro, if he can maybe make something work in this bot side. Cboi gonna get hooked up here. They do have a Lissandra around and he has no vision whatsoever. He's gonna have to take the dark passage away. Good hook there onto Lissandra. Does get her caught onto the traps as well. She's taking a lot of damage here from the Jinx. Ultimate comes out and they execute there. This is getting a bit scrappy now. Macko kind of coming back and disrupting the pace of this game from the side of Movistar Riders.
Yeah, a little bit confused there from the perspective of Fresskowy. I'm not sure, maybe his E was on cooldown as he rotated down, but he also had flash. He could have just committed over the wall, killed Cboi with his CC, right? Because he was up in the air because of Alvaro's ultimate. Very, very strange to not hard commit. Maybe just feeling like it's kind of a confirmed kill. Overconfident in the amount of damage CC that was there. Hard to know. But Cboi makes it out. Fresskowy gets punished for it, and the kill goes over to VZZ.
Supa, he's trying to get a 1v2 right now. Alvaro's kind of not doing anything right there. He looked for a weird kind of hex flash, I guess, and that was just really, really weirdly played by the Movistar Rider bot lane, but fully executed on by Macko.
Yeah, absolutely. Macko happy to just take that free kill. Gold goes over to VZZ. Gold gap closed yet again. All out. Acidy. 2v1 here.
Well, see what they want to go for a 2v1. Marky gonna flash away from the knockback. Cboi has been stopped by the barrel. And now we kind of see the game go into a weird state. This isn't exactly where Movistar Riders want to be kind of keeping the game in the kind of, you know, scrappiness. They want to make sure they're not getting too far ahead of themselves when they go for these plays because, you know, we could have had a Zeri moment, but now we're looking at a Kraken Slayer already now for VZZ, so he's happy with the way the game's going.
Yeah, he's keeping curve with Supa, right? Even though the rest of the map is definitely fallen behind, some aspects worse than the other. It's actually really the top lane where a lot of the kills have just kind of fallen into Marky's lap, so he's up almost 2,000 gold.
Run, Click! Run! He can't run away anymore, though. Supa gets himself over the wall. There's even a flash available to Supa should he need it. He does not. Isma says, all right, I'll let you have 2 autos. You missed them both. I'm going to take this kill. 4, 1, and 2 here for Isma on the Lee Sin. It looks like Movistar Riders happy to continue this dominance in the bot side.
Great reference, Ashid. Here's VZZ. Watches his support, unfortunately, get run down. And Movistar just continue to layer in pressure towards the bottom side of the map. They've been doing it pretty much since the ultimates have been available, and it seems like Supa doesn't be able to quite get the tower just yet. One plate tower, very, very tanky. Teleport's coming in defensively. Isma's here as well.
That's going to be wrong. They're not going to be able to get it. Oh, never mind. He gets it right at the last second. There's going to be a good charm, and they're going to get the ultimate off as well. And they get more off of this. Supa going to probably have to use his flash after this to get more on top of him, but the rest of Movistar Riders are coming in. It's a 3v4, and you've used a lot of it already, your initial engage. You're going to see the Lissandra flashing in, getting a cleanse out, and the hook comes down. VZZ has nowhere left to be, except going back to the gray screen. Now Macko just trying to keep this fast and loose, but unfortunately, if it doesn't work out for you, you're kind of not really in the position to go for it now. Click. Maybe going in. Never mind. The Lissandra goes straight back in. They had the stopwatch, and now they can look for even more off this play. You wanted to try and go for the re-engage. You thought you were being cheeky, but Movistar Riders are wise to your tricks.
Wise indeed. And this is what we were saying in the draft. Movistar, skirmish heavy, Lee Sin, Lissandra. It's so powerful in the early stages, and they just get caught up against the wall. Double man, W, ultimate comes out. First kill into VZZ, can't do anything. Cleanse won't save you in that position. And then just a re-engage here. Really, really nice presence of mind. You just know he can go back in with the stopwatch. And no one is able to obviously touch him in that status effect, and everyone flies in over the walls like Avengers. Macko just get ganged on.
It's 5,000 gold, 2 dragons, and the child will be spawning in 36 seconds. You are got a Rod of Ages for Marky, the top side, level 11 as well. Gragas just so good at everything in so many ways. He's tanky, he has regen, he has damage and burst and engage. He's kind of everything all rolled up into one. And Macko, unfortunately for them, clicked 0 and 7. Struggling to really have an impact in this game.
Now, I do have a silver lining to that. He's now died so many times, he's actually just not worth gold. like at all.
That's true.
Like, if Movistar actually commit anything beyond their basic abilities to kill them.
Oh, Alvaro. Oh, nicely done there. Needs to be careful though. The traps could have spelt a bit of a different situation for him. They could have maybe burned him down, but I mean, yeah, he is worth no gold. The problem is though, is that he's not got any gold either,
I mean,
so
look,
he's struggling.
He can always press his W key, right? Like, Thresh can always be a lantern bot. That can't be messed up.
One hook is all it takes.
No, that's Blitzball.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Oh, I ruined the line. No, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I was gonna go into full song there to really serenade how Movistar were gonna kill this guy topside, but you know,
just realized.
Don't worry about it.
Did Asadi ever use the Herald?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Observers. I don't know. I don't know
if you
who's on
can.
the team
I don't know if you
today.
can tell us or not. But if you can show us when the time, if we can get a picture-in-picture of when he either used it or when it faded away, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, because now Movistar have the second one, of course. As Click is not going to connect on that. Unless I'm just drawing a blank here. Oh, hello.
I don't remember it going down. Maybe it went down and bot? I can't remember. Well, Asadi finds himself on the top side after TPing in. We're going to see them go for all out on top of Marky, who flashes away. Can they kill off the Gragas? So that's the real question. They now changed their move, as we can see the Lissandra on the backside of this. The Jinx is dead. Yes, you've taken down the big fat man, but he wasn't the primary target because we've got a Zeri in the game. She's going to be putting in the double kill here for the side of Movistar Riders. And there's just not really a lot you can do. The wallet's too big, and it's beating you down right now.
Beating you down, indeed. Doesn't matter if you kill off the fat man. Zeri's the one that's the problem. She's dealing out the DPS. Macko just getting continually run around in circles, to be honest with you. You can't blame them for looking for this pick. Asadi teleports very deep in. Here's the replay of the Herald earlier on. Oh, he used it in the mid lane. I did not see this. It must have just...
Thank you. Thank you so much, observers.
Yeah.
All right, Asadi. We give it that. We take that
All right,
back. You know what? We were too harsh. We were too harsh and too quick before we check things.
Yeah, and by the looks of the minimap during that play, it seems like it was when that collapse happened up against the wall. No, it did not hit the tower. So, yikes. Feels bad. Feels very, very bad. You know what feels bad as well?
For, G2. Yeah. I'm trying to come up with anything right now, man, because Movistar are owning this map. This is Macko looking to kind of keep themselves in the 2-1 thing, but let's look at the replay on the top side, because again, it's a good flank, but again, you're so far behind, like even on levels.
Yeah, levels, everything, right? And even by the time Asadi brings Marky all the way back here, half HP, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, he's always going to press his R key on him, but the fact that Isma even goes in, doesn't drop here, Marky effectively almost kills off Asadi, but again, once Zeri's in the mix here, she's just not being focused down by anybody on the Macko side. It's too hectic, right? Like, no one's able to really form up and get chain CC or damage in. And Movistar happy to just thrive in the chaos. They pick up this third dragon of the game. Baron's on the menu in a minute and a half down there. Almost certainly be the next focus point, the next bit of attention. And I feel like for Macko, the match is running out. There's not a whole bunch of time left. I will say still, BTZ, oh no click.
He just got a good hook there. Maybe he's going to get a little bit more. He's kind of soaking up a lot of damage here, and a good bit of summoners as well. That's a 3-man Ring of Frost. Now the Lissandra has to flash away. They finally take the tower and they go in on the Lee Sin kick. The charm is good. The all out to try and get him down. But look at them dancing with these health bars right now on the side of Movistar Riders. They know how far ahead they are, and they know how difficult it is. I mean, I'm not saying that 610 needed to build a Medjai's when he has 0 kills, 0 assists, but like he has one, and now he might be losing all those stacks that he never had. No, never mind. He's gonna get a 0-0 scoreline. Okay.
You miss every Medjai's opportunity.
No, we're not going down that road. We're not going down that road.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's a hard watch. And I think for Macko, they will do what they can. 610 has Smite in his spell. Okay. Do you know what I see here? Machine, I see an opportunity. I see an opportunity here for a very, very cheeky steal away. If Movistar go for the Smite, Macko have twice the amount of damage. Surely, right?
10.
Surely. You say technically. It's no. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna happen.
I mean, I'm always so wary because I see people go for this that it just looks, they look like fools then when they go for it, because I think that Movistar should be aware of where everyone is. Marky, no flash for another couple of seconds. There's a good hook. They put the traps behind him. He actually flashes onto them just in case. But the TP coming in here from the Lissandra means they are in a decent position regardless to be able to defend their top laner.
Yeah, his feet were cold, man. He wanted to just get on top of the trap. Warm
nice
up a little
and
bit.
toasty.
Yeah, nice and toasty, I'm sure. As okay, is it gonna happen? He pulls the trigger. So Movistar.
No, they're not doing it. They're not doing it.
No, they are. No, they are.
Maybe they are.
Okay. Guys, quiet. This is when Macko make the magic happen. All right, so
well, as a fight happens.
No, they're behind the pit.
See, they know it's down to about 8,000 HP. Marky, no flash. Does he get charmed? He does not. 6,000 HP now on the Baron as it hits about the halfway point. They don't have to go for the Baron at all. They can go for the fight, and everyone can die. They still have the spites, but they ain't got nowhere to go because there's nothing to take. They're going to be run down here. Keep your 0-0-0 scoreline 6-10. You cannot let the stacks go to waste. It's not allowed right now in the Church of Chimera. There's the kickback. There's the first death for 6-10. The full ace. Nobody died on the side of Movistar Rider, so it's nice and clean. And now they can go back to the Baron.
Yeah, they'll return. They'll pick up the purple worm. And, tip of the hat to Macko for the creativity attempt. But it seems like Movistar just kind of knew. And what an amazing engage as well. Cast comes out, hits 3-4 members. Look at this, all of the AoE damage that comes over the wall as well. It's just so much at the same time. W from Zeri, R, 4 members, 2 into the wall, 2 to the left-hand side, splits them apart. Devastating stuff. And Movistar happy to immediately pounce. And, unfortunately, that ward in the tri-brush just giving Movistar way too much information. Macko cannot make the magic happen, cannot keep the dream alive. They get aced, down the Baron, soul spawning in 60 seconds time, 70 seconds to be pedantic. Not that I feel like Movistar necessarily need it, Ashin. I think they're quite,
you know what?
fine.
I feel like they can give that back to them. They can turn around and say, you know what? You guys can have this. That is no worries whatsoever. There's a hook. He's going to land on Alvaro, and he should be able to flash away before the traps do go in. Does land his ultimate onto a unstoppable Cassante, but not really going to see much else from this. And this is all you've got left. 12,000 gold down. You got to go for these mad picks, but if it's Alvaro, if it's Marky moving forward, you're not really worried about that if you're on the side of Movistar Riders. It's very difficult to burst anybody down because you don't have damage. Oh, what was that? Was that Click flash? Yeah, Click did flash. Click misclicked, and now he's no longer got a flash. That's just how that is, unfortunately. And Acidi is going to go with. There's a good hook there on the Marky, but an even better one from Alvaro on the Cboi's clone. It's got me caught out there with that one. And there's kind of a trading back of hook for hook. Alvaro does miss out on that one, so it's going to be 2 hooks to 1 now in favor. Actually, no, the massive missed one there. So this is Movistar Riders taking total control. 23.5 minutes. They're going to look to end the game. You can see, look, they have a flank, but what are you going to do? You've no engage.
I see this flank. Oh my god, that cast is nasty.
My lord, that was a nasty cast. But they got everyone grouped up here. If the Jinx could do damage, no. I tried my best to put something in there. Triple kill comes in for the side of Supa on the Zeri. Another Zeri moment and a dominating win to end the day here for Movistar Riders.
Excellent stuff from Movistar. Even up there standing with Macko. Get the head-to-head as well. Good looks for them. Opened out the day with that loss, but definitely since we've had them on our screens in the latter half, looked excellent in those skirmishing exchanges. Definitely a positive look moving forward towards their next set of games, and also that win really does kind of do Aegis a favor if they can try to make a turnaround. Everyone's saying get 2 and or it doesn't really do them a favor, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to
Macko.
say it doesn't really, honestly.
what I meant to say is doesn't really do Aegis the favor sitting at the bottom of the standings either. So, now this top half looks really exciting. Everyone 2-1, bit of a circle going on of everyone beating everyone, and it just sets up now for this Group B to potentially have a bit of a banger final day, as 2-1 groups often end up with very heavy shenanigans, tiebreakers almost. I don't want to say guarantee, but they seem almost always looming, right, in the back of minds. So We'll see now what Movistar can do, because they definitely look significantly better towards the back end of this day.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Isma joining us now after that particular match, and we're going to say, first of all, obviously, congratulations. You know, you guys get yourself up to 2-1. A bit of a rocky start for you guys today. You know, kind of coming up against Foot. You know, and we obviously talked to you know, your team earlier today. You're not the happiest when it comes to best of ones, but it looks like you figured it out in this one.
Yes. I mean, we struggled a bit hard with the first game. I mean, the draft. I mean, we played a bit scared, but we always do this, like in scrim and stuff. Usually the first game is like not the best, but after we came back well, so I'm happy.
It's good to hear. And of course, you know, obviously moving in, it's the last game of the day. It's a very quick turnaround of games. Obviously, you play quite a few back to back. And are you worried at all going into Friday now that you've played a couple of games? Are you thinking that, you know, you have to think of something different, or are you happy to continue to play the way you guys are playing?
To be honest, I'm very confident for the tournament, and I mean for the group. First of all, I think we will do good. First game we choked, but I mean we had the game. You know, it's not like we get stomped or anything. So I'm very confident for Friday, and I think we'll do 3-0.
Great to hear. And obviously, look, you know, outside of your own kind of, you know, the Superliga, is there any particular teams you're kind of maybe showing a little bit more respect to, maybe a little bit more kind of, you know, no, I won't say fear, but definitely someone you're going to be looking at and saying, like, I hope we can avoid them until finals?
LGLC, I would say. Maybe Team Gamers Origin. I think it's like the best team in the tournament. Yeah, I think only those teams.
Nice, good to hear. And obviously you're feeling confident about yourselves, getting those best of ones back under wrap. And just one last question, obviously, before we go. Were you a little bit scared of Macko coming into this one and seeing the two teams fall to them already before you guys played them?
I mean, I was really surprised they went for 2-0. I think, Aegis and Foot choked. I was really confident into Macko because I think it's the less strong team out of the three we can face. And since we won just before, I was really confident, to be honest.
Yeah, keeping them very wary, but obviously you were confident enough in your own ability. Of course, congratulations again on your victory today. Of course, gives you the 2-1 scoreline, and we look forward to seeing you guys on Friday.
Thanks you guys. See ya.
Right, well, look, you know, I mean, we talked about the best ones earlier today, and they seem to have figured it out, at least against Macko. They looked a little bit more confident on the picks they had.
Yeah, definitely did. And it's nice to hear from Isma as well, just because, of course, first EM, being able to make it here.
Yeah.
And definitely having a bit of a pop-off game, but definitely I feel the eyes will be a little bit on that damage graph where, yeah.
Zeri in the game? I don't know.
I would never guess, but this game just felt purely in their control. Again, it was a very similar draft earlier on where they just have a lot of the skirmishing and the agency tools to make things happen on their terms, and they pretty much consistently had priority through the mid lane. It was always Fresskowy moving down towards the bottom side, ASAP whenever he could, paired up with Isma, and Macko just didn't have an answer to it. Top side wasn't going in their way, bottom side was getting roamed on, and the mid lane wasn't really anything they could play around just because of the nature of the 2v2 in the jungle. It's very hard to play around all the CC, two direct one-to-one counters. It's playable, but of course, if you're not really first to the punch, you're never really going to be able to come out ahead, and unfortunately, it came up Movistar Riders for the side of Macko.
Yeah, unfortunately for them. But look, I think for Macko, there's a lot of positives from today. You got yourselves the 2-1 scoreline. You can definitely bring yourselves back into this one here, but you see a couple of the plays of the day just kind of bringing us into what has been a pretty eventful day number 2 of the EMEA Masters.
Yeah, it's been a very, very eventful day, as it always is. Groups always tend to bring you surprises. It's very rare that you have a group day where everything goes the way you expect it, but there are some things that are true amongst a lot of EMEA tournaments, and it's that there's always at least 2 LFL teams dominating a lot of the time. Didn't always get to see it from Aegis in this time around. Sat at 0-3, we'll see what they can do, but games from earlier on, of course, Unicorns doing all right into LFL side, LDLC.
Yeah, looking fairly decently in terms of the way they were going to go. But this was an interesting one as well, watching it earlier. It did feel like it was, despite the scoreline, a pretty, kind of close affair up until a point. It felt like it wasn't just a 100% stomp. It's always hard to tell a game based on, just the score that you were given. So for Unicorns of Love, it did feel like a little bit went against them, and just straight up LDLC are just such a strong side. They come into this tournament every damn year, and they're always coming out looking like favorites.
Yeah, they are. This game, LDLC, this is the Barkman show, isn't it? Just straight up. I can't even count on one hand how many solo kills he had. Not because I can't remember, because I think he actually had more than 5.
You don't have enough fingers.
I don't think I have enough fingers on a hand. This was
if you do, you gotta go to a doctor about that, my dude. Like, you gotta check that out.
might have to. This was one of the few fights where it could have gone the way entirely for Supa and continued a bit of a snowball, but beyond this, there was not much room for error afforded to them as, again, a team has Zeri, and Zeri is Zeri.
Yeah, Zeri, Jerry, whatever way you want to put it, does do Zeri things. I am so excited to see her nerfed into the ground and never to be played again. It just feels like she just does a little bit too much all the time, her protection and everything. But again, it's about how you play around her as well. We are seeing the adaptations coming out from teams, and then from that, the adaptations coming out from teams wanting to protect her. Sam Kenja's coming in, the Jinx, of course, you've got the Orianas, the Lissandras. The meta is shifting a little bit towards that kind of, again, still hyper carries, but how you actually play around this game is becoming very different than it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely slightly changing, right? We'll see what teams decide to pick on tournaments. Why I love tournaments like these, especially at the ERA level, is you always have teams that try to innovate inside of the tournament, right? And you always have these 2, 3, 4 weeks where an internal meta starts to develop as teams start to get very used to picks that are being played on the patch, but also very familiar with potentially new ideas, new counters to what is being commonly played right now. Had the Varus come out, not necessarily out of the ordinary, but into the Jinx as an answer just to deal with it inside the lane. Olaf as well, still in the mount. I don't think this is the patch where it got hit on the nerf. I think it's 13.7.
Yeah.
Where it got touched a tad. I will tell you though, the nerf wouldn't have stopped that from happening, that's for sure.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think the nerf stops what that happened, but yeah, of course, we're going to be playing all of the tournament on 13.6 until we finish it off towards the end of April. And again, it's kind of the thing as well when it comes to these tournaments is that sometimes you get a good meta read, and that could be the difference for a lot of these teams, a lot of these players, because it could be the difference between how they want to try build themselves off of one meta. Like a lot of the LPL teams that have won Worlds have won them all because of one good meta.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it takes. We'll see what teams thrive on this meta, right? What teams feel the best. For now, as you can see with all the groups up on the standings, it feels like LDLC and Go getting the better grip and the better hand in that sense of the name.
Yeah, I was going to say LFL and finishing first in their groups, naming a more iconic duo there. Aegis, of course, having a much tougher time there. Macko kind of making that group very, very curious to how things are going to end up kind of finishing off there. We are going to see a bit of a tussle, I feel, for the top 2 positions. And of course, I look at Group A. It's kind of like it's a tale of 2 different groups. You've got Group A and Group B, which is kind of very close to the top of the side. Unfortunately, kind of a very obvious kind of team to kind of try and rise up from the ranks. But on Group C and D, very clearly a very top team involved, and there's going to need to be a shake-up for them to kind of not see those teams go through to the quarters. Yeah,
definitely is going to have to be. I feel like it's going to be LFL dominance minus Aegis in those in the C and the D group, but definitely for Group A, Group B, going to see some new regions potentially make it in. Of course, TCL new to the tournament. But we could actually have Macko making it through. I don't think it's necessarily too unreasonable. We'll see, however, how things unfold, as EMEA always likes to bring the surprises.
Yeah, I think I can't remember exactly, but I do believe PG Nats have made it to the quarters once.
It was like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they got to quarters once, or maybe even twice back in 2018. But we are going to see, kind of see what they can do. Again, they've got a day now to kind of recuperate. They took a pretty bad beating in that last game, so hopefully that doesn't knock their confidence too much. And I'm always a fan of the Italian Stallions, of course, my boy Moonboy, keeping me up to date on everything that's going on in the PG Nats. But yeah, we can look at the schedule for tomorrow and see what games we're going to be doing, because again, we're going to be focusing on those 2 groups. We've got ourselves Group A, we've got ourselves Group D.
Yeah, 2 groups where, a little bit of dominance and then a little bit of everything is up in the air. We'll see how things turn out. I think quite a few important matches will be being played out as we approach our second round robin. I'm not sure really what ones necessarily grab my eye. I feel like Riddle, SK, going to be pretty important for that group in terms of just the middle, fighting for that second spot in is going to be crucial. And of course, I feel like go Riddle as well. If Riddle can end up winning that first, or their first 2 games, they could set themselves up for a little bit of success to try and slip in to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you got the other side of that one. We were saying that it was Group A, and then of course, Group D, and then we're going to be talking about Group A. This one does feel like it's definitely going to be a bit more of a toss-up. You've got Macko Esports and, of course, the Istanbul Wildcats alongside Los Heretics, all on 2-1. So there's quite a few very key matchups coming into tomorrow, and it's going to be very curious to see where they go in terms of, early results, because those early results could dictate so much later in the day.
Yeah, early results going to be key, especially, I mean, look at Z10's schedule, right? They play 2 games first half, and then they don't play for the rest of the day, so they're going to be sat there, especially if they win the first 2 games, they manage to make that comeback happen. Just nails. If you're familiar with the with the 17V emote, you're just there hoping and kind of praying that things fall in your favor. 3-0, very difficult to come back from, but we'll see. Hopefully for the Polish side, whether or not they can make that comeback a reality.
Yeah. And of course, obviously we are aware of issues with a particular game earlier on today. We haven't got a full statement for you right now. Referees are, of course, bringing that together to make sure all information is brought to light. But we will be releasing a statement on that later on after the broadcast. So again, very unfortunate that these things happen, but unfortunately they do happen. And we kind of see, hopefully, that the fair result is given regardless of the situation. But yeah, I mean, look, coming out to today, lots of different surprises. I definitely feel like there's, quite a few expectations kind of rerouted and definitely kind of brought back. But that's all the time we got for it. Thank you so much for bringing me through this EMEA day, Jamada. It's been great having you here back again. And I look forward to seeing you on LPL once more.
Yeah, hopefully. Don't know when. Smile.
Yeah. I like the idea. You're just like, I don't know. I'll think about it.
I'll think about it. But of course, always a pleasure to join you, whether it's the LPL stage or whether it's, of course, the EMEA Master stage.
Yeah, of course, this is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much to everyone for watching. Thank you to our back-end production. Without them, none of this would be possible. And we will see you guys at the same time tomorrow on the same channel, and we'll see you then.
Tuve una caída en mi carrera, pero he vuelto más fuerte que nunca.
If not, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Randomly.
J'ai progressé une étape à la fois jusqu'à arriver au sommet. Maintenant qui est dans la mêlée, et la côte de Roguette, elle est magnifique du côté d'ADC. Ich weiß, ich kann der Beste sein, jetzt muss ich es nur allen zeigen.
선택할 수 있는 길이 많았습니다. 저는 지금 걷고 있는 길이 옳다고 확신합니다.
No a wszyscy tutaj na gotowe. Nie odbierajmy. Pentakill jak najbardziej zasłużony.
Orada sıfır bir değişim. Ayakta kalan son isim Erdoğan. Uzun zamandır bekliyordum. Şimdi benim zamanım.